And I never really let that bother me. There was I guess you call it a background at one time where they would tell me that I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that.
Right.
Um,
To make you strong and inspire you to do it.
You were exactly. You know what I mean? And it's just like they're trying to, I don't know. And then through like middle school and even high school or middle school, I had an English teacher, and she said I was struggling in her class, but I think she's trying to fail me because she knew I was dyslexic. And I actually got a little bit of extra help, curricular activity actually, support they would call it. So in between classes, some kids would go to study hall. Other kids would go to their support class,
Mm-hmm.
But nobody really made fun of nobody because they knew that, extra people needed a little bit of extra help.
Well, you know what it is, too. You can have a disability and you can use it as your crutch, or you can use it as, every situation is neutral.
Yeah.
So if you have a disability,
what you make of it.
Yeah, if you have a disability and you're going to use it as your crutch, then that's the what you're going to be attracting to yourself.
Right.
But if you can use it, and you'll meet somebody along the line
Absolutely.
that is going to understand you, and they're going to help you, and that you're going to remember them forever, like this teacher you had.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and that's the thing, when it was diagnosed, and because I was struggling with reading and writing, and I was getting really low marks, the first thing was like, the other teachers that didn't get it were like, well, he's got a problem. And I went through all these testing things at this special place. And then they did, they're trying testing your IQ and making you go through all this stuff. And then what I had to do was leave my normal class every day to join a special class.
Right.
Which meant, I was with people that were probably back then either autistic, high functioning, low functioning. Some kids had disabilities in physical kind of ways and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, and then, you look at the sort of, psychological aspect of it when you're told that something's wrong and then you got to leave every day. There were some kids that were more pariah-like that would take advantage of that, and that's where I earned the moniker of special ed.
Right.
And hence why for a while I even called my band Special Ed and Musically Challenged.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. That's cool. I like that title.
You want to go that way. I'm like, we'll turn a negative into a positive. And also, the music that we were playing was challenging for us to play, and we were challenging our audiences because of the styles we were going.
Rock on, man.
Yeah, I like it.
And look where you are today.
Yeah, you got to play for yourself.
That's the thing, and that's why I said that before. Like so many kids, and as a teacher, other people, like a parent will come in and go, well, so and so is very special. They're either this, they're that, or the other thing. And to me, I just look at them as kids.
Yeah.
And I know immediately, look, they're interested in learning. I know how I can help them. They're helping me in some way because I have to come at things from different perspectives.
Right.
So to me, it's like everybody's winning. As soon as the parent starts overloading about what somebody said, if the kid picks up on it, it's basic math when it comes to psychology. The kid looking at his parent and how they're reacting.
Absolutely, and you don't want anybody to, get you down, and you just want to do what you enjoy and what you love. You know what I'm saying, man? You keep doing, you keep going with what you love, and I mean, that's what you tell all the kids out there today. Is like you brought up a good point. Don't give up.
Right.
And go with your passion, go with your love. Look at me. I love the weather. I never became a meteorologist, but I'm better than half those freaking meteorologists out there today.
You are professional. You're on our show doing the weather.
All right, I am. All right.
Yeah.
But I mean,
You'll be a little better looking than those women in the water.
You're our who's that black guy?
Better looking than the groundhog.
What's his name?
Black
That's you. Yeah.
What's the guy?
Yeah, what's the guy? Al Roker.
Yeah,
I like Al. Al's cool. I like
You're
Al.
our Al Roper.
Oh, cool. I like you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. No, but that's
Not
a great, backdrop to tell kids and everything like that, just not to give up.
Really is.
Always keep going, no matter how hard it gets.
Here, the other thing is, even in my own circumstance, I remember, so I played baseball for 10 years. I played hockey for 14 years, in inter-house league stuff. But when I was a kid and I wasn't that active in the schoolyard, I would try to break in through the little school window at recess to get into this room where there was a piano because I wanted to play piano more than I wanted to play road hockey.
Yeah.
So, and then I get in trouble for it. And in a way, that teacher that had punished me for that and made me stand in front of the staff room for detention didn't realize that he was actually making me want it more.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
by saying no, it's reverse psychology in that regard, right?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man.
You know, when you think about it, it's like we were saying earlier. Everybody has a story. Everybody has $1 million story in them.
Absolutely.
And
Well, we all
and
have, yeah.
From your lessons in life, from what you've been through, if you can share that with anybody, share it with people, and be an inspiration to someone, that's all we're here to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like your music. I mean, you can't go out and play it to, for fame. It's like you got to do what you got to do, and then whatever you need is gonna come to you.
Oh, Joy, because
But yeah, that's the thing. I think everybody that gets into the business in a weird way has got this idea of fame. And to me, somebody that's famous is somebody that spent the time in their lives doing what they do because they love it and they worked hard at it. It's not because they own crap and have a lot of money and stuff. And I'll tell you, just in the past week being down in Kentucky for the IMEA Awards, and I'm happy to say I actually got Best Contemporary Artist of the Year.
Nice.
Awesome. Congratulations.
And I even said to the audience, this is going out, I played a tune at the show saying this is going out to all the independent artists that had to come south of the border to get recognition for what they do. Because, you guys still have an avid and active music culture, which I'm, really excited about. But the people that I talk to, when I play, whether they be on a stage or in the street, it doesn't matter because I'm always exchanging information with people. Like I was at 3 o'clock in the morning, we were back after the event, my wife is asleep in the hotel. I'm downstairs because I can't sleep because I'm wired, and I start talking to this guy who's a training engineer from Kentucky, but he decided to stay in the hotel. He lives an hour and a half away from home, and we're just talking about everything from politics to everything under the sun. And we realized, we're just like-minded people sharing ideas. And that's what turns me on about music, is that I have that ability to do that. And then it fuels me to think, well, who knows, maybe that conversation somewhere will end up in a song, or I might tell somebody about that experience that might change their opinion of the situation.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. Far out.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you, Ed.
what's that?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'm just seeing your tour guide here that's showing me. I've never heard your music before, but I'd be thrilled to hear you play. Do you ever come to Boston?
Man, I'm trying to get hooked up with some shows and I really want to do some either house concerts down in that neck of the woods, anywhere that will host me in a location where I can have people at my disposal. So I'd be happy to come to Boston. If you got any suggestions about something down there, I'd fly down there for sure.
You can play at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in it right now.
The haunted mansion.
I live upstairs, and downstairs is like a whole thing, but I'm kind of
Where
like
we are
a big
tonight, yeah.
open field in the back.
Facebook me, and I'll give you my Facebook.
Yeah, man, let's do it. We'll hook it up.
I can say it over there, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
I'm the Wicked Weatherman.
Wicked
You
Weather.
can get me at Peter Jude Lovasco, Lovasco. And that's my Facebook.
Lovasco.
No, Lovasco, Peter Jude. And that's my Facebook. And let me know when you're in the Boston area, and I'll see.
Yeah, man.
I have friends that are
Coincidentally, if my cousin Laurie Kuzla is listening, her and her husband just moved down there and set up business in Boston about a year ago.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends
wow,
in bands and stuff like that, and I can, put the
Yeah.
word out for you.
I'll tell you, I have.
Right on, man. Right on. I appreciate that, Pete.
Yeah.
I have. Your agent had sent me some of your music, and it's very good.
Play something.
It's very good. I couldn't actually off the email. Can you play any clips here?
What's that?
You want to play a song for us?
On the air right now?
Do you have one on tape?
Yeah,
You can just play the
Yeah,
show.
give me a second to pull out my acoustic guitar.
All right.
That's awesome.
That'd be cool.
Nice.
And by the
Give me
way,
a second, hang on a second. It should be in tune still. I was just playing it a little while ago. In this Canadian weather, you start turning your heat on.
Hey Ed, before you
The first
stop
thing that
playing,
happens is everything starts drying out. So you gotta oh man.
Hey, before you-
With a little humidifier and.
before you stop playing, do you know Greg Johnson in Canada?
Craig Johnson?
Yeah, Greg Johnson.
Oh, I thought you said Craig. No, Greg Johnson. The name sounds familiar. I know Craig Johnson. It's an incredible horn player.
He's a tornado superstar on Canadian TV.
Oh.
oh really?
He's gonna be my guest this Saturday.
He's a weather
I didn't
dude?
know if you knew him. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Folks, make sure you check out Ed Roman's new album, Letters from High Latitudes on iTunes and Amazon. That's Ed Roman.
Thanks, guys.
Letters
So,
from High Latitudes. Ed, wait a little way, Ed.
Rock on,
Do your
man.
thing, man.
Okay, this is called I Told You So. This is the first track off the record, and it's talking about where everything comes from, who puts it there, why we buy it,
We're
and
back live
why
on
we
Ustream with Ed
participate
Roman.
sometimes. It's called I Told You So. Hold on.
He's gonna play something live for us right now.
Smile, too.
Close up a chat. It's not to scare the shit out of anybody. We're muted right now. He's into stuff like UFOs, Bigfoot, conspiracies, government history, green topics.
Another hand inside the split of a hand, falling down on the ground and crying, I'm crying, baby, who split you and killed you, leaning on an either injecting flavor. I hate to say what so.
Good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yesterday, Messiah, I'll choose tomorrow. I hate to say, told you so. I hate to say it, told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Big drum fill. Got boom, boom. I hate to say it, told you so. I hate to say it, told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I hate to say it, told you so. Yes, I did. I hate to say it, told you so. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, do this more often, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Not too far away.
Right? Ed, that was awesome, man.
Ed Roman. Nice. Nice job. Wow.
Rock on, man. That was far out.
Blows away the last guest.
Yeah.
You know what I've been listening to a lot lately is the Foo Fighters.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like the
Oh man,
I love the messages in
my
their
ass,
songs.
man, he's awesome.
The messages in
Yeah.
their songs, I never like really listened to them, but I've listened to them over and over again, and I like their messages in their songs.
And you know what? And that stuff when he came out, like during America's Idol stuff, just talking about being yourself and being an artist, like he's right. That's what it's supposed to be about. Like, you know, you're always going to hear familiarity in music, and in any genre that you listen to. The important thing is that the person is being themselves, which really means being honest. And like I was having this conversation with somebody the other day where they're like, well, you know, it's okay to have character in your voice, but when you're trying to put it on in a way that it doesn't have originality, then it's missing something. It's missing you.
It's missing the vibrations that you want to add to it. If you're putting out bullshit, your vibrations are coming out as bullshit. So If you're talking
Yeah,
the
well,
truth,
and
you're
that's
talking from your heart.
the truth factor in it, right?
Yeah, if you're talking from your heart and the truth, then people will listen
And
to
it
you.
can come from anywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter where it comes from. It could come from spoken word. It could come from rap music. It could come from country music. It could come from anywhere. It doesn't matter. The point is that you have that instinct as a person when, like, you know something's good or you know something's wrong. You know,
Yeah.
you have that pre-feeling before it. And
Right.
it's like it'll send that shiver down your back almost. So
Well,
it makes you go, oh.
There's like so many different songs that give you that wow feeling. You're like, I mean, for me, it goes from The Rose to, freaking Those About to Rock, AC/DC. Just a song that will
I
hit
like
you the
hard
right.
rock stuff.
Yeah.
It's any song. There's
Definitely.
songs in your life too that will just hit you, and you're like, wow, this song. It just gives you that feeling.
Godsmack.
Yeah.
Dude, I still put on Back in Black now.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I'm freaking out, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
What I'm
is,
getting into lately is a lot of Van Halen, like old Van Halen.
Yeah,
Rock Dead
yeah.
Day.
Far out.
That tune blows me away. And like most, Jump and everything off in 1984 was huge.
yeah,
But that tune, that just blows the vibe on that. And it's got a lot of original kind of, like the way that the lyrics are even presented, they're almost like spoken word with Dave, but Eddie's playing on that is awesome.
yeah. It's like, I was just using those two as examples, but it could be any song out of any music, out of anything. I mean, like I was just saying, The Rose.
It's real.
When The Rose plays, I like, oh, The Rose, I love this song. And then I listen to AC/DC.
Yeah, like when I
Hearing you do it, I don't know.
We were just talking about this at work, because the guys are giving me shit because I say that whenever the Lion King song plays, I cry.
You listen to Lion King.
I just like, yeah. And I was getting crap at work.
So let's change the topic.
Hey man, you catch me singing a few tunes from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, don't worry.
Yeah, see?
Chitty bang bang.
So Ed, tell me now.
And you know what, Gershwin, Rogers and Hammerstein, anyway you cut it, we were somewhere on somebody's living room floor at a holiday season as kids watching those movies when we grew up.
That's right.
And you know what's important about it is that as kids we were exposed to really great music that then we started, going ourselves and searching for other things that took us to other places.
Yeah, subliminally we got it. Without even knowing it.
Well, yeah, it was the story and the music and everything.
You weren't like really listening to the music though, but it was hitting you.
Yeah, right. That's right. It's like
What about the whole Muppet era when they did the Muppet Show?
I love the Muppet Show.
Gonzo!
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, they did all the stage shows, you're right.
No, I think
I like the grumpy old guys here up in the...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they used to do all
They sucked.
they used to do all like the show tunes and stuff too that you would have never heard otherwise.
Come here, I guess we'll never know. It's like a kind of torture to have to watch show. Remember that Buddy Rich was on that show. There was Linda Ronstadt. There were so many amazing artists that show hosted. And as a kid, once again, you're exposed to all this talent.
I do remember that because I'm a drummer and Buddy Rich was one of my idols, and I do remember that as a kid watching Buddy
Do
Rich.
you guys remember the show growing up as kids, Benny Hill?
Benny
Hill.
Hill.
Benny Hill.
Yeah, man.
That was filmed in Canada, wasn't it?
Love it. No, that was England.
Oh, was it?
I was British, yeah.
Benny Hill, the old man that would always be running around peeing, looking at the little beautiful women.
Yeah, that's when you were like 14, you started watching.
Yeah.
Hey, Benny Hill!
He slapped the little bald guy in the head all the time. That was a good show. Oh wow, that was one of Jeff's favorites.
Was it? I love it too! Oh my god. I remember my dad be like, me too.
That we can all conjure together, coming from like a generation of people that were really exposed to a lot of television. Yeah. Like, it's even incredible that we embraced music as much as we did because we were inundated with so much of it. Even here in Canada, for the longest time we only had like 3 stations, but when we got cable TV, it was like, holy cow, I can't believe how many stations we have. And the shows that came out at the time, we're socially and also culturally savvy to what was going on a lot in culture in the United States. Today, it's more like TV is making culture as opposed to writing about it and demonstrating it
Yeah,
in a
it's true.
completely
Yeah.
different way.
That's true.
So
For
it's
example,
All in the Family, the Jeffersons,
Happy Days.
Oh, Happy
remember
Days.
back to Happy Days? In Happy Days
Yeah,
with
now we have like
Fonzie.
Honey Boo Boo and
Cunningham.
things like
Yeah.
the Gypsy
Ralph.
Sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have Fonzie walking around in his leather jacket, and I swear to God, everybody had a leather jacket after that. I know I did.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they really
But there were a
formed
lot of
culture
really
back
good
then.
messages that were still inside of those shows and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe I'm more of a product of that generation of watching stuff, but you know, that's the other thing, in getting into the topic about it, is that media today is like an unbelievably weird and interesting place at the same time, because it seems like they never seem to stop with this sort of manifestation of anxiety, it seems. That's why it's refreshing to do shows like this and even talk to people, is just because I start to realize more and more, it's not the junk and the crap that the TV's pumping out that's important, it's how we talk and relate to one another. We're sort of back on that topic, but
Yeah,
I kind of stopped watching TV a little while ago, almost a year ago now. I mean, I still turned it on and watched the news or...
I haven't watched the news in a year. And
Well, you know what? You're not even missing much.
No, I haven't.
All of a sudden splattered on the wall. But you see, how much less afraid do you feel because of that?
I haven't watched the news in a year, and I recently, since I moved here, I don't have cable either.
Well, how do you keep up on, current events or,
You know, like I said, I check the barometer. I go to CNN, I go to CBC, I go to CTV, BBC, anywhere that's sort of talking about what's going on. Then I start looking through all the social media and see what people are talking about. Then I follow the trail. And I try to find out other sources for what people are talking about.
Right.
And then
You know
I
what?
make my own decisions.
You can hear everything that's going on in the world on your frickin' trip to Dunkin' Donuts in the line waiting, because the TV's
You're
everywhere in the
totally right.
world.
well, they're
So,
all TVs.
that's why, I mean,
at the gas station now.
I have no need to even watch the news.
In the bathroom.
Or watch
You're taking
the
a
TV.
leak, and there's
Yeah.
a TV right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't even have frickin' cable here, I don't watch the news, because all it is the first 10 stories.
It is.
What it is, it's the media that they know negativity sells, so they're gonna pump these things like Ebola, if we don't have all,
Oh, God.
and then what that does is it makes a conscious shift in the world. And the more people that start thinking about Ebola, that's like law of attraction that, okay, all of a sudden, everyone's gonna say, oh, you want Ebola? Here you go. Here's a way that you never even thought you're gonna get it. Here you go. That's what happens. That's how the diseases start.
It's the oldest tactic in the book, man, because you could use any circumstance in the past and history to sort of demonstrate the same thing, and how a reaction happens, or somebody does something, the reaction happens, and the people respond to it. And the same thing goes on. Look, a bunch of years ago, the H1N1 thing. Up here, like everybody rushed to the hospitals in line to get their shots.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you do the math on how many people actually passed away, and I'm saying, but I don't want anybody to die.
Yeah.
But the percentage was so few, it was even ridiculous to cause the kind of panic that it did. And here's the other thing, we're talking about dyslexia, and I know this is a very sensitive issue with vaccinations and how people feel about it. But when I started doing research on dyslexia, and I did a small documentary that I haven't released yet, that's called The Art of Dyslexia.
Yeah.
I interviewed a lady that was the head of special education at the University of Toronto. She's a good friend of mine's mom, and she acquiesced to the interview. She said, look, I asked her, where did these kinds of things start to happen in our culture? Did they manifest at a certain point in time? And she said to me off camera, and I mentioned this, but she even said, I don't want to mention on camera, that when affluent families could start to afford to vaccinate their kids, this is before healthcare in Canada, I know you don't have that in the US, but vaccinations is where this started to show in affluent families. And back then, it was a very infinitesimal percentage of people that dealt with autism, dyslexia, Asperger's, any of those things. Now, when I was doing my research in 2006, it was, the reason I started it is because the stat went from the 1970s being 1 in 10,000 to 2006 being 1 in 165. Now it's at about 1 in 80 or 1 in 78 or something like that.
Right.
And I started to think, well, why is this happening? And almost parallel hand in hand with vaccinations, healthcare, those types of things that are endocrine related, whether they have the mercury or they don't. Most people don't know to ask for it or not ask for it. But traces of mercury can also cause forms of brain damage because it doesn't leave the system very easily.
Right.
It's something that's like a toxic thing in the body. And then, the kids today, before they're even the age of 10, have received so many inoculations, far more than the average adult at, say, 40-something today that has ever had in their lives. So the statistics are growing, and I question it. And then, hand in hand, it was also talking about thinking outside the box and what it's like to be a dyslexic, a parent of a dyslexic, a brother. My sister has it as well, all that stuff. But I found it interesting that here, this is coming from somebody that, has been studying it, working with the phenomenon for over 40 years of her life. And what also was really amazing about it is that the parallels between the amount of people that have, quote unquote, like we know or don't know, the learning disability factor or fall by the wayside out of the education system, almost parallels again the amount of people that are in the prison system.
Right.
And the prison systems are not filled with stupid people.
No,
there are a lot of very highly intellectual people that are in the prison systems. They've just been manipulated. It's like, where the seed falls is how it grows. So,
right, where to go from now? Exactly, the same themselves, where to go from now, because they were manipulated. Exactly, you guys are totally right.
So, I'm always questioning that kind of stuff, and the television is really no different because they use those kinds of things and tactics to be able to sell stuff to, I remember when Michael Moore put out that video, I can't remember what it was, he was interviewing Marilyn Manson. I was bowling for Columbine. And he asked Marilyn Manson, he goes, so what would you do, if you, had the chance to, talk to these kids about what they did in Columbine? And he said, I wouldn't talk to them, I'd listen.
Right.
Wow.
And for the same reason, and I had a whole newfound respect for him, because I know it's just about, it's Alice Cooper in a completely different hyperdimension is what he is. But he's one of the smartest people I've ever heard talk about this. And it's the same thing. It's like the TV says, here's the show, on comes the commercial. It's either going to make you feel insecure because you smell funny, you're not going to get laid, get the chick, the guy, whatever, you're not going to make a mortgage payment. It's always about that fear factor, and consequently we buy into whatever those things are to hopefully make ourselves feel better. And to tell you the truth, as powerful as social media is today, in many cases it's doing the very same thing. It's making us far more insular and less attached to each other. Because we can fight and argue with each other online and talk and do all these different kinds of things in social media, but we're not spending enough time sometimes with our spouses or our families, or there are kids now that have disorders because they don't know how to communicate with the person because they've never really spent enough time offline to know what that is. There's something to be said about, the amazing thing about it, but at the same time, it's also making things not right. And it's hard too, because all this stuff to me is just like a tool. I get my ideas from many different places, but I'm not going to just, I'm not going to have it on all the time. I would go crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Ed, so I have a couple of questions. Actually reading your bio and speaking with your agent a little bit. He says that you have an extensive knowledge or opinion on, let's start with UFOs. What do you think about UFOs?
Well, I'm a believer in the phenomenon, and I'm still looking into what these things are, because my family had our own experience many years ago before I was born, where something landed between our barn and our house. And my mom, my grandparents, both, my sisters, my brother, all thought it, and it becomes part of my family allegory. So consequently, when I get old enough to understand what it is, I start trying to.
He talks a lot. I don't have to
more information. I had my own experience as well. The other thing about it is that, is this something that is hyperdimensional?
I get a flashlight.
Because as far as I know about, science and physics, there are many dimensions to the universal equation. So are these things here all the time? Are they responsible for our development? Is this something that's pseudo-religious? You know, is it that way for some people, just like art is for some people? Do they manifest as an alien, a goblin, a god? But what I do know is that there's far too much information from very reputable sources in too many circumstances that are hard to ignore. Whether you want to look at the big biggies like Roswell or anything else, there's multiples, there's so many different things that it's really hard to say that we would ever be alone. And how they're interreacting with us or what is interreacting with us, you know, to me, is it alien? There could be multitudes of them. I mean, even us as a species, you know, biologists and scientists, we tend to put tracking devices on things. We follow them. We sometimes manipulate them for our own needs, whether they be, you know, strapping some strange brain device to a monkey or testing shaving cream on a rabbit. You know, I don't think that this is anything that's different on a cosmic level, and whether we're a part of it, just like, well, you know, out in nature, you run into a bear in nature, you're now part of the food chain, you're not just there to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I've never seen
And I think that scares a lot of people. I think that's the other factor behind this, is that the culture that we have, as beautiful as it is, and so many things that so many people have to say about it, that this, I almost equate it to like a Matrixy-like thing, where this continual, like this, when we just talk about television and the media, it defocuses people from sort of higher thinking about stuff.
Right.
And I guess maybe that's what I was getting at, even just on a social level, the way we interact with one another. So some people don't even want to deal with it. I remember, like in my family, my mom was really interested in supernatural stuff, UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, you know, anything that you can think of. She's the one who first bought, you know, gold to God and cherry to God, Bonton, and get books.
I'm talking to a rock star.
And then, you know, my sister, though, she's terrified of it, and she doesn't even want to talk about it, you know. So I understand that fear is there for people, but I also think it's something that just like I said, you go out in the bush, you don't know what you're going to run into, from a rattlesnake to a bear.
Fear of the unknown.
Hey, what do you think about ghosts? Do you believe in ghosts?
Absolutely. I believe that ghosts manifest in multiple ways. We can do it ourselves through PK manifestation. We can manifest through negative or positive energy, certain energies that then become real.
That's right.
And I also believe that people can experience visitation. I think people are stuck here. And other spiritual connection things are sort of like films that are kind of left like a stain on stuff.
Yeah. Residual.
Because of,
Residual.
The residual, yeah. And my own personal experience was when my buddy, who's a drummer friend of mine, grew up playing music with, he passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I had another thing with my uncle too, but it was a wild thing. There's many wild things. That's the thing. I can always look back at it and pinpoint a whole bunch of stuff. And some people go, well, yeah, it was just coincidence. I don't believe in that anymore. So I'm standing outside the wake on a street outside this pub after the fact. These three kids are walking by and they're talking about how they're going to break into a junkyard, steal a car door because they messed up their parents' door while they were away on vacation and they were going to repaint it and just all this crazy stuff.
Right.
And as I'm standing there, we had done the exact same thing when we were kids. My buddy had passed away and two other buddies of mine. I was just staggered, first of all, that three kids would be walking down the street talking about this on the night of this event, okay? So I stopped them, I introduced myself, I told them the whole story. Would you want to come in, have a drink with us, sit down and talk with our friends? I'd love to tell them the story. As we go upstairs, I walk into the room with these three kids, and I introduce them, and I start to tell the story, and the whole room goes white. And I said, what's wrong? And they said, we were just telling that story while you were outside.
Wow.
So for me, it was complete confirmation at that moment that the synchronicity of that moment was showing me something really significant. It was my buddy going on here. I'm letting you know this is going on. And And those moments for me are like, they're too hard to ignore. The chances of that kind of thing happening are so slim, it's not even funny.
Right.
No, I mean, definitely. Synchronicities, I mean, if you're aware of them, it's basically they're everywhere and they just kind of lead to more too. You know, I mean, it's good that you picked that up. I mean, it was just like meant to you. I mean, it was the death of the day it happened or their anniversary or that
He
they died.
passed away. He was a food and beverage manager. They were just finished playing hockey. 13 years at this place. They went and ordered a couple of veggie plates, like, and some jars of beer. He had a peanut allergy. 2 orders that were identical had peanuts and the other one didn't. The waitress that was supposed to take it out that didn't know left, and another waitress took it out and didn't know about the mix-up. He ate a piece of it. 45 minutes later, he was dead. And he had a 4.5-month-old baby boy. They were just 2 years married.
Oh.
But the other thing is that over the course of that week, I have this little thing, I keep it on my piano. His name was Bane Arnold. Hey Bane, I know you're listening, you bastard. It was my wife's kid's toy. She was like, you know, it plays, you know, diatonic tone stuff, it's color coded keys, you know, I think a lot of kids had them in the 60s and 70s. And this thing only plays tones, as you can hear, right?
Yeah. Cool.
It started playing rhythms the night that we got home from the funeral. So it starts going.
Wow.
So he's a drummer, and I just went, "Why is this thing doing this?" And I kept hitting some of the keys, just trying to get him to do something, and it would, you know, just maybe something's wrong.
Yeah.
It's gonna duplicate it, right? There's no way.
And all of a sudden, I get the shiver, which is the synchronicity shiver, and I go, "Is that you?" And it goes. I said, "Bane, is that you, dude? Come on." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Is this really you?" It was responding to the questions that I was asking it through these little rhythms. But once again, it's like, he's a drummer, he's using this somehow to communicate. And I had this out on the table, and he and I were screwing around with it about a week and a half, 2 weeks before he died.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. There's no way that toy would be
When my uncle died, I was a pallbearer that morning in a blizzard, and that night I was playing in Toronto on the stage. And I got home. First of all, at the wake, it's the same thing. My uncle, before he died, God bless him, he was diabetic, had both of his legs cut off, was going blind, bunch of fingers. He told me, he goes, "You watch, I'm going to come back and play tricks on you." And I'm, you know, I was kind of freaked out a little bit by it. And I'm like, "No, Uncle Les, it's okay, I love you, man, everything's cool." When he died, okay, so we're back at the house, sandwiches, people are chatting, the doorbell starts to ring. And we're like, okay, kids playing Nicky Nicky Nine Doors, right? Go to the door, there's nobody there. Shut the door, bing bong, open the door, nobody's there, like immediately. And then all of a sudden, it kept doing it, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. And we're like, what the heck is going on, right? So my cousin's husband and I go to the basement and flip the breaker for the doorbell, and it kept ringing. And everybody immediately went, "It's Uncle Les."
Right.
So I am in this sort of state of shock. I drive home to get changed to go to Toronto to play. And I open my room to my door, and I walk down, it was like a little step that goes down. And in the center of my room, the first thing I see when I turn on the light is one of my fly fishing flies that he tied for me, that I kept as like this little thing in my box. Never used it, but he made it years ago, and he gave it to me when I was a kid. My fly box is in my fly jacket, down in my garage, nowhere near my room. And that thing was sitting there in the center of the floor, unable for me to
What's that?
as soon as I turned on the light. And again, confirmation. I love you. I'm here.
That's
I'm
one
looking out for
rim.
you.
That's like a big aluminum rim.
Because when you lose somebody, it's such a traumatic experience for you, right? So I think in some ways, I'm trying to comfort you through this.
You die
And some people might dismiss it because they don't know what it is. But for me, it's again, shiver moment, confirmation.
He's like a freaking 18-year-old kid.
Alright, we're just watching the tow truck on We're listening to us.
In between talking to you, I'm having a tire change.
Yeah, it's like a tow truck.
Once upon a time, kids, there was a little boy with all his hair in teeth.
That's awesome.
We're laughing, but my grandmother, she, like I said, we come from the old country on that side of the family, and
Yeah.
another part of the family allegory is the fact that my grandmother's brother was born with all of his hair and teeth and could already speak a bit.
So he's born a man?
Wow.
He was like a little man, basically.
That's kind of
I'm gonna
creepy.
get a little wry on the network, but my great grandmother said that her nipples would get raw because he already has teeth.
That's kind of freaky, yeah.
But at the age of about 7, he would start telling my great grandmother, "This is the day I'm going to die. This is what's going to happen.
Jeez.
This is what the kids are all going to do. This is what you're going to be doing." And his name was Ergi. Okay, it's a very old world name. It's like Aaron, basically.
Right.
And the day that he was 11 years old, just like he said, he put on this little suit that my great grandmother got him. It was like a little sailor suit. Went underneath this apple tree, got a bench, laid down on the bench. All the kids came from the village, and he just expired.
Wow. On the day he said.
On the exact day he said it, the age he said, and everything. And my grandmother would say that my great grandmother would cry. You know, and other people would be like consoling him because she's like, I don't know why he's doing this and saying all this. It's like the child had known his fate. And in some way, maybe it was destined for something completely different. But again, it's that special kind of like connection to the supernatural for me, myself, and in my own family. Because even my grandmother, without, you know, she's not a witch or basurka, as we refer to them in the Slovak language, but she was a woman that really believed in the power of intent. And you know, she believed that she could heal people with her cooking. She believed that she could, heal people with spells.
Wow.
And because of that, you know, we had a friend of ours, David Fingard, a friend of our families, and he was diagnosed with cancer when he was about 82. And my grandmother started to make potato soup, potatoes from our garden. But when Baba cooks, she sings, she talks to the potatoes, she talks to the soup. There's always this moniker of intent, like I said.
Yeah.
She never told David, I'm making you a soup that's going to cure you of cancer. She never said anything. But what she did is she made sure my dad took that soup to David's house. Mildred would put it on the stove, warm it up. David lived to be 96 years of age, and the doctors never knew at the age of 84 what happened to the cancer.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I mean, that's basically, that goes under the theory.
Cooking.
That goes under the theory of that Japanese scientist, I can't think of his name now, but how water is... No, water is, it's like you can control water with your emotions.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, when you think of it, you know, we're 70% water, you know, our bodies, so it's kind of the same thing. And she was kind of doing that,
Potato soup.
but she was doing that soup with like her intentions and her love, so it's like she put that into it. I mean, it's anything you do, if you can put your intentions in love and feelings into it, it's gonna, you know, I mean, I believe that.
I think the same guy you're talking about, they did that with the water, and they started to freeze blocks of it, and they started to look at the molecules in the blocks.
Yes.
Because they had some, like monks pray on it, and there was another group that prayed on chocolate, and they did half, it was like a placebo effect, half of it was prayed on, and half of it wasn't.
Wow.
And they gave 50% of it to people, and they started to feel better. And that's the thing about being a performer, being a musician, or anybody that creates art and is doing it. Like, even if it has senses of small imperfections, that's healthy because that's also being human. You know, no human is perfect. It drives me crazy that music has become and thought of as this really quantized thing. You know, and I'm not saying don't work at it to be hard and be good at it.
Right.
But the thing is that the intent and the energy that you're putting behind. Look at Hendrix's solo at Woodstock. I mean, if you look at the Star Spangled Banner that he got so readily criticized for.
Yeah, at
and I
the time,
remember
you're right.
Dick Cavett show, he was like, well, I think it's beautiful. But
Yeah.
he was trying to illustrate it in some way that was so aggressive and outside, using feedback and all these things. But it's not conventional. It's outside of the box. It has this roughness to it. That's what made it so real. That's what made Hendrix so raw. That's what made Morrison so raw. You listen to the record, it's perfect. That's what the record is cut for. You watch a live show, you're going to hear imperfections.
Oh,
That's
definitely.
normal.
Except for this one.
Yeah, except for this one.
Yeah.
We just get tires changed and stuff. And
So Ed Roman, we have a couple of minutes left. Why don't you again tell people how they can check out your music and follow you?
Well, you can come by edroman.net anytime and check out my social networking buttons, the latest news, what's going on in the world of Ed Heads. You can get the Ed Roman app for free. I've got it.
Oh, yeah.
One question?
Oh, yeah.
It basically puts my website and all my social networking in your pocket. Keeps you up to date with what's going on. The new record's doing really well. It's just up for the award in the United States, the IMEA award. It won Best Contemporary Artist of the Year. So, do yourself a favor, go out and get it at iTunes or Amazon, or you can come by my website and get it all signed and send it out to you.
Nice.
Very cool, very cool. We do have another question for you though, Ed. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Dave.
Ed, we ask all our guests this question and we kind of take a poll on it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion of the Ouija board?
Doorway for the weak-minded.
Oh, that's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet.
No, put just like that.
Yeah,
Good.
that's a good response. I like that, Ed.
Yeah, I think
Because if you open that doorway, you don't know what you're doing.
Right,
And
you're
a lot
right.
of inexperienced people who think it's just a game.
Yep.
You're right.
You're opening yourself to a world of hurt.
Yeah, generally it's
Yeah,
kind
like
of
that.
like another paranormal investigating tool, and you better know how
I'm
to close the
generally
door.
trying to if I know spirits are with me, and they're usually my ancestors or my friends that have gone. Even
Yeah.
students that have gone.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something that's trying to do anything, it's to get rid of evil spirits. I'm a believer in planting fruit trees, because fruit trees are an amazing way to appease the spirits and get rid of evil spirits. I burn sage, sweetgrass, all kinds of stuff when I say prayers and stuff for people.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in that.
Hey, Ed, can you friend me on Facebook, Jeffrey Legier? Because I'm in Facebook jail and I can't friend anybody right now. So could you friend me?
Yeah, Jeffrey Legier, just like it sounds.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's Legere.
Yep.
A lot of E's.
Legere.
Legere.
Okay, gotcha.
Hit me up too, Mark. So there's Mark.
Yeah.
And there's Jeff. And
I'm in
Reed.
Facebook jail, so I can't friend anybody right
We
now.
will do our best to push your stuff around here locally. Actually, that'd be great. We'd love to get you around here. We'll get back in touch
I
with you.
appreciate that, Boston, man. Like I said, I get down there to do a house concert and maybe another show, and I'll introduce you to my cousin Lori and her husband. They're nice people.
If you ever want to,
Down at Salem, Mass.
yeah, if you ever want to head this way, you could do a little ghost hunt at my house. You could stay overnight, bring your wife, anything. I don't care.
Oh,
I
dude,
got
you don't know how much we want to do that. I got a couple great little EMF detectors.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
really?
couple handheld mics. I'm totally into doing that.
I got
My
people.
wife and I are.
I got people like every month or so. I have a group of people that just come, and so you're always welcome.
No, I'll be there in a flash, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, Ed Roman, thank you very much. Call in anytime.
Anytime, guys. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, man.
Our pleasure,
Cool.
Ed.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Bye, Pete.
Bye.
Bye, man.
All right, folks, that was Ed Roman, called in from Canada. Hey?
Hey!
Did a good job. He's great. He's gonna chat. We'll put him on the website here, and you'll see him live. Actually, we're live streaming on Ustream right now.
Canada, where men are men and sheep are scared.
And Bruins fans still getting along with it, right?
We are
Yeah.
in Paranormal with Mark and Jeff, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. All right, so now I can get rid of. How do I screen her call?
Who's that?
The one that's on now.
You just gotta click the same below.
Right here?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
2 seconds right after the music, all right, Sylvia? Okay. All right, guys, ready? Showtime! All right, everybody, welcome back to Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff with our guest host, Pete Lavasco, our wicked weatherman. They're out there right now taking care of the tow truck guys, so they'll be right back in. So we are live and ready to go with section number 2. Our next guest is an author. She has written a book. The latest nonfiction book is called Fractured Spirits, Hauntings at the Peoria State Hospital. And she looks very interesting. Welcome to Everything Paranormal, Sylvia Schultz. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, first, I want to apologize. I think when we first went to Skype, we had you on and it just kept kicking you off. So we got it down now. Now we almost know what we're doing.
Perfect.
All right, Sylvia, tell me.
I'm getting a really bad echo on the line here.
You getting a bad echo?
Just to let you know, yeah, you sound all echoey, and I can hear myself 2 seconds after I talk.
Oh, wow, that's funny. What I'll do is we'll cut the audio back in the studio there. We can do that.
Sorry about that.
No, that's quite all right. Plus, we're broadcasting from a haunted mansion today. It's funny, my brother lives here now, and it's very echoey here. Yeah, we're like in this big, grand old ballroom. So that's probably half the echo. But what I can do is...
I don't mind you echoing, but me echoing is a little distracting.
Well, you sound good now. I hear you good. Is that a little better?
Well, let's see.
A little bit better.
I'm still hearing myself.
Okay.
I'm still hearing myself 2 seconds after I talk.
All right, you go ahead and tell our listeners about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Okay, I will give it a go. I am the author of Fractured Spirits, hauntings at the Peoria State Hospital. And I was very, very grateful to be able to write this book. When somebody says, oh, that's much better, thank you.
Yeah.
When somebody says haunted mental asylum, you automatically think pain and fear and abuse. And I didn't know anything about this place before I started writing the book, but I was so grateful to find out that the Peoria State Hospital was actually a place of deep compassion and caring for the patients. These poor, unfortunate souls were treated like family. They were taken in and cared for. And yeah, it was a place of deep caring.
Well, tell us a little more about the book. Give us some more details.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Fractured Spirits started out as a
First thing
place
she's doing is
to
complaining about
collect all of these stories that people have been telling over the years about their paranormal experiences at the Peoria State Hospital. The hauntings at this place started even before the hospital closed in 1973. There were reports, I talked to a gentleman who used to work there, who was in charge of the adolescent unit, and he would take groups of young men out on astronomy field trips on the ground at night to go stargazing and whatnot. And he said his kids would tell of walking through the cemeteries on their way to get to where they were going to go stargazing, and they would see shadow figures moving through the cemeteries. And this is when the hospital was still open. So people have been having experiences there even before the place closed.
Hospitals have a lot of bad energy in them. They just like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of, we have Danvers State Hospital around here, and we went there to just kind of, we kind of snuck in the back door because we knew somebody. We were walking around the building.
Danvers State Insane Asylum.
Now what they did was they turned it into an apartment building.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel energy when I go into places, and I feel like what's going on, and I felt the confusion of the patients still wandering the halls. I felt the new energy of the people that are living there, and I felt how it's like, there's going to be it's going to come to a head at some point over there, and something's going to happen.
At Danvers?
Yeah. They built, they ripped out, and I know, I have a construction company, and I know the guy that, he does my windows, and he did the windows for up there, and he was telling me that when they gutted, you know how they clear the land and get it ready? They were just taking truckloads of whatever. There was bones and everything in there, and they were just loading up trucks and taking them out truck by truck by truck, and there was a security guard at the front and a security guard at the back. So there was like, nobody even knew what was coming out of there. There was bones, and they took the graveyard that's in the back, and there's a bunch of grave markers thrown in the woods. So it's like there's energy up there it just explodes. I can't even really go up there anymore because I just feel too much when I go there.
Understand that. Yeah, there are sometimes I would like to be able to feel that sort of energy, but I really can't. And I expect it would be pretty overwhelming, especially in a place like that.
In a place like that, it is. But in other places, it's good because you can feel the good energies. But in a place like that, you just feel it's just confusion of the patients. It's the new people that, it's because you feel their energy too. Because I mean, everything leaves an imprint of energy where you are. So it's just, the patients that were left up there, a lot of them, I mean, they don't even really know they're dead, some of them. And so they're just kind of still wandering the halls saying, what's going on here? What's all these changes?
Yeah, that must be so disconcerting for them. I feel so bad.
Yeah, and it's just crazy up there. So, I mean, any one of these hospitals that was around in the 40s and the 50s, and they were doing all their experiments and all the other stuff that was going on. It's, I mean, you just have instant energies, I mean, they were pulling people's teeth when they were biting people and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of excuses like that. Now, the Peoria State Hospital did do lobotomies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were maybe, I think there were about 49 lobotomies performed on the hilltop.
Oh, yeah.
So not all that many compared to the other hospitals. And
49 that you knew about.
People who, well, true.
Yeah, I bet you there was a lot more other things going on there that you didn't know about.
Oh, yeah.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no,
I talked to people whose relatives were in there, and that most of the people who do not have relatives in there are fiercely interested in the history of the place, and it's a fascinating history.
Yep.
I have spoken to people who have had relatives in there, and they said, "Oh no, it's a horrible place. They gave my grandmother electric shock therapy, and she was never the same after she went in, and things like stories like that." But what these
I think
people
next time we're gonna go.
are kind of forgetting is that the Peoria State Hospital was so concerned with the care of the patients that they
Just remember, when you guys
they use
call in on Skype,
radical procedures. They
always go to
did.
the studio, because you
But
don't need the
You've
Skype.
got to figure
That's how you
that
get your calls.
anything,
You know,
Yeah.
That's how you'll see that. You've never seen that
designed to
before,
jar
right?
a
No,
medium
no,
loose
Denny
in the
never
brain,
really showed us.
That's why you
is going
couldn't
to have
find me.
repercussions. And what
Yeah,
they would do
you were
is they
hanging out in
would
the studio.
put these patients
I was in the
that
studio,
required
you guys didn't
electric
see
shock
me.
therapy,
Denny's probably
they
showed
would
me
put them
before, I just
into a
didn't.
medically induced coma.
I don't know.
They would put them in an insulin coma so
What
that
else
they
you talking
wouldn't, the
I don't know.
patients wouldn't react badly to the
Welcome to our
electroshock
world.
therapy. They wouldn't go rigid and break bones
This
the
is
way
how I
people
was going.
usually did when they were just subjected to the therapy, the shock therapy, without any sort of
And then if we get dead
relaxation.
silence.
So they really were
That's what your
as
website.
they possibly could be in light of the treatment they were giving.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And with the lobotomies, the Peoria State Hospital was built on it was a theory of kindness and compassion. They were very interested in having women take care of most of these patients. They felt that the kind hand of a woman was better for patients than the hard hand of a man. So if you've got this 6.5 foot tall, 300-pound maniac who might be violent, he might be a rapist, something like that, and you give him a lobotomy, you give that patient a lobotomy, and turn him into, from this violent, angry patient to somebody who is docile but has the mind of a third grader, that's the trade-off you have to make.
Yeah.
He's going to be easier to control, he's going to be easier for a nurse to take charge of and control and lead by the hand, but you've damaged his brain.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's just the trade-off they decided to make.
Do you think that's a good trade-off?
In light of their philosophy, yes, I do.
From
In
the
light
nurse's
of
standpoint.
trying to take these patients and make their lives better for not only the patients, but the people around the patients, the people that have to interact with the patients. I think that is a fair trade-off. You take away that anger, you take away that violence. You know, maybe this person couldn't really tell what they were doing. Maybe they were seeing themselves from the inside going, oh my gosh, I can't stop myself from committing these violent acts.
Maybe we should give Mark a lobotomy.
Yeah, I'm sure they
need
didn't
one.
know exactly what they were getting into when they
I'm not angry.
went under the table. But, yeah, I mean, who's to say that these patients didn't come to afterwards and say, oh wow, I feel a lot calmer now. And from this distance of years, it sounds barbaric to say that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have to put yourself in the shoes of these patients and these nurses that were trying to care for the patients as well.
Sounds pretty
Desperate
interesting.
times call for desperate measures.
Sounds very interesting.
Tell us about your website.
What's your website?
Oh, my website, filthyshelf.com. The
Okay.
interesting thing about Fractured Spirits, about the book,
Yeah.
is that when you're reading through, you might come across a little cartoon ghost in the icon, in the margins of the book.
Okay.
And that is your signal that there's extra stuff on the internet. And on the
We are
website,
echoing.
sylviaschultz.com, if you click on Fractured
Tell us
Spirits,
something.
sound files for Fractured Spirits, if you're reading through and you read about an EVP
Wait till the
that
crickets
I've
stop.
captured,
It's
or a
like
video
20
that a
more.
ghost hunting group has captured,
Oh,
and
is
you
that on
see that
this?
little ghosty icon,
Yeah, it is.
you can actually go and listen to that EVP
Yeah.
as you're reading the book. So the book is multimedia, it's interactive. So there's that on the website.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think it's a nice little added touch. People
Sounds
like
great.
that.
We
People
love
like
stuff
to be
like
able to
that.
hear this speak.
All right. Hey, Pete, Sylvia, excuse me for 1 second if,
Sure.
Pete's itching to do his, wicked weather forecast right here for us.
Oh, what's up, guys?
All right, lay it on us,
He dropped by live in the studio, so we just want to hear it. Plus, Pete, I understand that, we are maybe gonna do some like, ski updates in a couple of months.
Yeah, a couple months,
Something like
right?
that.
We're gonna
Yeah.
looking at the end of October, early November, I think. Yeah, definitely.
Right. The thing is here, Sylvia, is we're having some severe weather here tomorrow. Severe, we probably say that funny.
Severe.
Severe weather.
Actually, it's probably a pretty high risk for some isolated tornadoes, which is really
Very rare up
Very
Oh
here.
my,
rare.
Yeah.
where are you exactly?
especially at this time
We're
of
right
year.
in, we're in
the
Salem,
fall.
Massachusetts, about 8 miles, north of Boston.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're in
and
the
I
middle of
live-
the city.
And I live in Gloucester, which
Yeah.
is right on the ocean, and actually anywhere on Cape Ann there's a risk of an isolated tornado tomorrow. We were telling the public that earlier
Yeah.
this evening, but so
Wow,
everybody's
you
gonna
really
have
don't
their
see
heads
the
up for that.
tornadoes on the coast.
Well, you know, it's
Yeah.
really strange because we're in October and this is a very rare event.
It really
The
is.
helicity values are off the roof. It's something you'd see out in like Oklahoma or Kansas. We never see these perimeters this high at this time of year or any time in New England.
Oh,
So we just have to let the public know that there is the possibility, not to panic anyone, but there's always the possibility.
Just keep it in
And
mind,
this kind
yeah.
of setup.
Keep your eyes to the sky,
And
right?
since it'll be the morning commute. And
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
another very rare.
it's the
Like,
worst time.
go back to the Revere one a couple months ago. Remember the
Yeah.
Revere tornado?
Yeah.
That wasn't
We
too
had,
far from
yeah.
here.
What's with these tornadoes all of a sudden? We never had tornadoes.
Jeez,
Now
you
it's-
got me. I'm
going on with
mind
that?
boggled by that. I don't understand. We don't normally get that kind of weather around there, but it can happen anywhere.
Right,
You know,
last
we're going back in the
in
winter, so.
Illinois,
Okay.
in Illinois, it's usually March, April and May that's tornado
Right.
season. And we had one that went through, one of the places that struck in my town was like 3 blocks away from my house.
And where
And
was
it
this?
leveled another town.
Where are
And
you
this
still
was in
here?
November.
And where are you still?
I'm right by Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, okay,
right
yeah,
in
Illinois is well known for tornado outbreaks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Washington, yeah.
Wow.
There were pictures on the front of USA Today that just showed, it was a really drawn back picture, and it showed the path that the tornado took through Washington, and houses were just flattened.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, and that was November, that was 6 months after anybody was expecting anything like that.
Yeah, we just want to make the public aware because, you know, sometimes they take it without, you know, warning and they just throw it out the window like, what are they talking
Yeah,
about?
like this, yeah.
But, you
Yeah.
know,
It was expecting a tornado in Salem, Massachusetts.
Right.
Weather's
Yeah.
a fickle bitch, she is.
Haunt.
it's the haunted season, right?
Yeah.
So she'll do whatever the hell she wants, right?
It really is.
Did you tip that
Oh.
guy?
Yeah. No, am I supposed to? Are you supposed to tip the tow truck guy?
No. Is it
You don't tip
AAA?
him?
Yeah.
No, they get paid to come out here.
I was wondering why
You
you.
fucking trip him for. Tip
I don't
him
know.
for.
Alright. So Sylvia, anyway, what got you into writing? What made you decide to start writing, becoming an author?
Oh,
Tip everybody.
man. I love to read. That's where it all started. Is I love to read so much.
Yeah.
I've always loved true ghost stories and anything mysterious. I grew
Am I
up with a
supposed to
book
tip
in the
them?
house
Really? I
called
thought that.
Mysterious
No.
New England that I devoured
I
that.
just tip everybody. I
Anything
tip like the lumberjack.
weird
guy,
or
everybody.
strange
money to people
or
in the
ghostly
street
or
that
paranormal, that would
Yeah.
always catch my
Wow.
attention. But my
I
heart was
tip
always
him
with
too.
true
He
ghost
was a
stories.
nice kid.
And
Depends.
I grew up and
Depends on who
started
they are.
writing
What happened to
and
David
realized,
Site? Was that part of
hey, I
it?
can
Like,
tell these
right?
stories on my own,
Look
and
at-
people
look
will
at Dan
them
Rick-
and
Well,
look at
that
Dan
was, I tell you was.
So that's
No,
how
so
it got
weird.
started,
Yeah,
is a
real
love
well.
of reading and a
Back in
passion
real
for
Real well.
reading, and then
Lying.
a passion for
No.
sharing these stories that people
Why
can
don't I know
tell.
about that?
What? So,
Okay, go ahead, talk to him.
So it all goes back to
Yeah?
reading and sharing. And the place is the Peoria State Hospital is such a fascinating place. I was really privileged to be able to share the history as well as the hauntings.
Now,
I don't think you can understand the hauntings without knowing something about the history of the place too. That's the other thing that really drew me to ghost stories, is they're a reflection of the history. They're just kind of an echo of the history.
yeah, you know what I like to do is, not know the history when I go in there, but have someone else have it ready for me, and then I'll go in and see if I can match that history. And, it's,
Yeah, if you're sensitive like that, that is a very good way to do it, and I think it would be very intriguing. I don't consider myself to be sensitive at all, but it would be very interesting to be able to do that, to walk into a place and just think back and let the feelings come to you,
Oh, yeah.
and see how close you were. That would just be fascinating.
well, I feel the energy, and, what I do is I can go back to a time, like, we went to the Barnstable, the Rutledge prison, and I was with a group of people, and I could see the building. All there was left was the foundation, and I could see the whole building. I could tell, I even described it. It was a horseshoe-shaped building with a big wide open foyer, with all of the activity like on the outside walls, and I mean, they showed me pictures, and it was like exactly what I said. So it is good, because then, Mark, and we have a researcher, so we get some history, we get some other stuff done. Mark will talk to the client first, and then I'll come in and I'll see what I see and what I can, what I can feel, and and it validates for the person too that they're not freaking nuts.
Yeah, we've been busy.
Yeah, we have been busy.
Especially around here in Salem, it's been pretty busy.
So we've been getting just, even like if there's nothing to do, all of a sudden we'll get this call.
Last minute calls.
Oh yeah, we were freaking out the door.
Yeah,
So it has been, it's been a lot busier than it has been, hasn't it?
yeah,
Must be activity is heightened up.
yeah, it's the, I don't know I don't know, maybe. A lot of things are more negative
I don't
everywhere.
know if it's people getting more interested and more receptive to it,
Maybe,
or
yeah.
if the activity really is ramping up.
It's the media.
I know that.
The media is portraying it so much, people are thinking it.
Well, she's right, but, people, they see it more on TV, and we get that a lot too. That's why we interview people first. Not to be disrespectful or anything, but we want to make sure we're not wasting anybody's time, and they're not wasting our time. And, is it really, sometimes you can explain things right away, creaks, could be, I don't know, could be a roof or a squirrel up in the attic, something like that. So, we interview first and talk to them, try to get a feel for what's going on.
One of the groups that I work with on occasion went to, and this was not an investigation that I happened to go on because I had to work that evening.
Yeah.
But they went to a house around, I think it was around Springfield, Illinois. It was about an hour and a half away from here.
Okay.
And this woman had reported that she felt really creepy in her bedroom for some reason. And they went in, and she's, I don't know what it is. I keep seeing things out of the corner of my eye. I feel this really strange feeling in my bedroom. And the group went in and did the EMS meters and did the first walkthrough of the house and did an investigation. And her bedroom was really wired completely wonkily. And she was getting too much electricity in her bedroom, and that was messing with her.
Yeah.
It was just a simple piece of too much EMS energy there. And they said, well, we suggest you get the bedroom rewired, and that took care of the problem. She didn't have any problems after that. But sometimes there's a perfectly logical explanation for things.
Well, yeah. That's why initially we tried to do a sweep too, we would go and look. We take EMF readings all over the place, all over the apartment or the house, and temperature readings, things like that initially when we first go in. And more than once we have found, high EMF levels. There's somebody's pillow, in the bedroom or the places where they
Just ran into that
have
Sunday.
their stuff. Yeah.
Just ran into that Sunday. I went to do one in Medford.
Yeah.
And what happened was the guy was like seeing stuff and he was kind of hallucinating.
Yeah.
And what happened was he had moved his bed and it was pushed up against a wall, and right on the other side of that wall was the refrigerator, and the electric to the refrigerator was the EMF was shooting off the wall.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Wow.
move your bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like having crazy dreams, and because a lot of people are affected by electricity and EMF.
Especially high. I know when we use an electromagnetic pump in some of the investigations, some of my investigators get dizzy.
It messes with me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like dizzy.
I like it. Fires me up. But I don't know. It's
Yeah, it just makes
That
me feel
reminds
dizzy.
me of an experience that I had out of one of the cemeteries of the state hospital. It was Cemetery 2. We were outside. There was, we had
was
opened
your
up
investigation? Oh, Sherry?
that particular
And I didn't
hospital
get invited?
to investigators
wow,
from
she's
the
not even
public
that good.
so they could see what an investigation was like. So there's a bunch of members of the public
We're
there.
not recording that video.
And somebody raced up to me. She had just been outside the cemetery, and she said, I was just outside there, and I smelled perfume, and I think somebody was trying to communicate with me from beyond the grave. And I thought about it, and it was late April here in Illinois, and I said, okay, did it smell like flower-scented bubble gum? And she said, yeah, that's exactly what it smelled like. And I said, what you are smelling is the blooms of black locust. The black locust is in bloom now, and that's what you're smelling.
What's one of your scariest investigations you've been on? One of the
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear us?
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Oh, we hear
Oh,
you.
sorry.
There you are.
Yeah, there we
What's
go.
happening to you? We're good. Good. You?
Okay,
Hey.
I can hear you now.
Oh, no,
Did
we heard you.
Did I
We
get
heard
my
you
entire story?
Yeah, we heard the whole
Did I
thing.
get my entire story up? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you, pay attention to your surroundings, and there was no way for her to know that it was black locust she was smelling, but I was able to say, that's not anything paranormal, that is just something completely natural, because you're outside this time of year, and it's really prominent, it's more noticeable after dark, for some reason. The air is more still, I guess.
Well, it's because you got heightened awareness and your senses are heightened.
In the dark? Why?
Mm.
Because you don't see as much, so everything else must.
It goes
Big
back
apple.
to being freaking cavemen, where you're more aware, and so you don't get attacked. It's just like it's built into us.
Hey, even cavemen saw ghosts.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Some of the caves, you see some drawings on caves, and they look like ghosts.
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
They don't look like Casper or anything, but I guess they look like ghosts.
You think about it. I mean, people pay money to go see ghosts, but they're everywhere because you have millions of years of spirits that didn't cross over. I mean, if you got a guy that got attacked by a saber-toothed tiger, you don't think his spirit's not rested?
Yeah, he's bumming.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Sylvia, tell me about one of your, how about a real funny experience you've had on an investigation? Have you have any? I know we've had a couple of laughable moments. How about you?
Or
Absolutely. I'll share a couple stories with you,
Okay.
and these are all amusing. I was at the Pollock Hospital at the Peoria State Hospital. That was the former tuberculosis ward, and it's divided into the men's ward and the women's ward. And the women's ward has traditionally had energy that is kind of laid back and kind of subtle, but for some reason this spring and summer and fall it's just been off the charts. So I got there, I volunteered for the historical tours and the ghost hunting afterwards at the Pollock Hospital. And it was late March, So I got there for a tour,
Wave
and
to
it
Kenny.
had been a long day.
Can I get you guys
And it
autographs? You
wasn't
guys are
over
pro
yet.
now.
So I just wasn't doing all that.
Danny, we miss you.
So I, instead of
They hate you on the
hanging
live
around
stream
in
too?
front of the
Yeah,
building
they
with
hear
all
us
the other
here.
actors, I went back to the women's ward with the book. I just thought, I'd sit and read for a while until it comes
talk
to be
about
my
we just lost 12 viewers.
in
12 viewers is probably all we had.
historical work.
We had
So I'm
viewers?
sitting there reading, and all of a sudden the
I
lights
didn't know
go
live
out.
stream worked.
And
I
I
have live stream.
honestly swear to God,
Oh,
didn't
yeah?
think anything of it. I just thought somebody had turned the lights out, and my first thought was,
With your son?
okay, why are we
That's
going
what
lights
you
out
can't
before
do.
the tour has come through,
Yeah,
before we're
that's-
actually going
He has
something?
just
This
doing a
is
show,
not
doing a
right.
show, and doing us
So
together.
I kind of just raised my voice and said, hey, there's actually somebody
He's up there.
back here right now, if you turn the lights on, that'd be great.
Right, live. Let's go.
And the
Boring.
lights came back on.
Boring. This is boring. Fucking
And
man.
again, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't hear anybody say, oh, sorry, my bad, or run away giggling or anything like that.
No.
I
We'd be
said,
talking to two people, we don't
lights on,
care.
So about 10
Well, no, you
minutes
heard
after
all
that,
of them.
sitting there reading my book,
Yeah, people,
All
yeah.
of them.
and from another part
I don't
of
even
the
know who's
room,
listening.
there's,
we have-
about,
Look at you,
6
you don't
feet
get
away
emails
from me,
and
there
shit
was
once
a
in a while?
door that
I
the
do.
actors went
Yeah, me
through.
too.
Really? Who's
To
this
get to
guy?
another
Yeah,
part
see,
of
we
the
gotta read
hospital.
that.
Really
And I'm sitting
show,
there,
I'm like this, the Ed McMahon
from
on
the
here.
doorway, I
had
hear
a girl
someone
send me a
go,
pair of thongs wrapped around my windshield wiper. I don't know who did it.
Right.
What did I do?
That's,
it's just, oh my God, I am so bored. This person's not asking questions. What in the world is she doing just sitting here reading a book? And I just busted up laughing. I'm like, okay, so I did it before.
I thought she was laughing at what I said.
that's what it is with her story.
I was hamming it up. I was laughing because she was
I thought
like,
she was laughing because she heard what I said.
No, I'll have to fit in with her story.
but we don't do this to all of our guests. We pay attention.
Yeah.
Tonight,
So I
Our first guest, Ed was awesome. Ed Roman.
And then
yeah, Canadian rock star, eh? You're rock.
He's gonna be playing in my backyard by summer.
Yeah,
So-
mansion.
David
What's your
gave no
website?
directions, and I
So
sent
how,
him to the
okay, so
library that
if I
is
wanted to
in the
look up my live
town
stream of my
where
other
the
show, how would I
State
do it?
Hospital
It's
is.
separate.
And I know he's
Talk
very
to,
talented.
talk to Denny and have him send you the link.
So I,
Yeah.
in my
You can sign
directions,
on
I
his link.
included, all right, you're gonna go up the hill,
That's, I
and to
just
your
said
left,
this,
you're
can we
gonna see
sign
a
the
great big
contract?
stone building.
On this, we
Put
have any
your guards
viewers?
up, I'm not kidding about
12?
this.
Well,
No.
If you don't put your guards up, you're gonna be
Zero.
fine.
So he hung up.
So I get a text from David about
What's she
halfway
talking
through the
about?
morning, and the text goes,
Come back!
"This one is absolutely fine."
Looks like a ghost popped up.
Okay, that's what I So he gets the rush, and he tells me the whole story.
Pay attention.
So he's driving up the hill, driving up Piper Road,
Yeah.
and he becomes aware that there's somebody sitting in the passenger seat of his truck. Sitting next to him in the
A
cabin.
ghost?
of the truck.
you sure it wasn't something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he drunk?
Oh.
Well, no, he wasn't drunk at all. He's just sensitive to that sort of thing. So he goes, a wife, he goes, hello, my name's David. What's your name? And this spirit goes, I'm George. And David goes, okay, George, well, what's the trouble? And George says, well, I have TB. And he said, when did you die? And George didn't answer that question. I guess he thought that was offensive or something. But
Time he left.
and David goes, okay, home with me, are you? And George said, no, this is my home. This is where I belong.
Oh, God.
And David said, okay,
All right.
so
Live again.
what are you doing in my truck? And George said, well, I don't get out much.
Good joke, right?
What? I don't get out much. Yeah, so he's like, oh, whatever, and
Alright, let me go smoke, we're gonna start digging it.
Shut up, the mic is on.
Oh,
the
what?
control panel for the side of the dashboard. And
Oh, no.
he's like, he's playing with the radio knobs and stuff, and he's like, how in the world do you shift gears without a gear shifter? And David had to explain an automatic transmission to this guy. And he's like, how? I'll bet that makes it really easy to get up the hill. And David said, well, yeah, it does. So David did this library visit, and George actually got out of the truck and followed him into the library.
It's a fucking story on a truck.
And David said he felt kind of weird because he was trying to talk to the librarian there and keep his books, and he kept looking over his shoulder to make sure George didn't stray too close to the computers and mess with them. So he kind of quietly said, all right, time to go. And got back to his truck, and George followed him back to the truck and got back into the passenger seat. And David took the same path back to the highway, which meant he drove back down the hill. And at the bottom of the hill, which is the grounds, the boundary of the asylum grounds, George turned to him and said, well, thanks for putting up with me, and vanished.
Problem with radio, the free radio things?
So, yeah, David said that was the most pleasant, well-behaved spirit I have ever come across.
Yeah.
Okay, one.
Well, that's a funny story. It's a great story. You had us in stitches.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a
Good thing.
Have you had any scary experiences or any something that really freaked you out?
Yeah.
I think she was going to tell me.
There was one time I was at the Poly Hospital, at the tuberculosis ward, and I was with a group called Peoria Paranormal, and this was the I was telling you about earlier, where they just opened up the hospital to the public, so that the public could see what a ghost hunt was like. So I didn't know most of the people there. I had just kind of invited myself along for
Don't say that. That would not be good.
So I didn't know any of the public. Didn't know any of the ghost hunters. All I knew were people that actually worked at the building.
Right. Is this what you're talking
So,
about? Scary story?
all these people were strangers.
I guess.
So I kind of glommed myself onto a group,
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
we
why I
went
was
down
laughing.
into
She was
the
laughing.
haunted ward.
We were laughing,
And completely lights out,
Yeah, right?
completely dark.
Just talking
So we
about,
go down into the ward,
tuberculosis.
and there's all these people. I said, okay, you know, we'll let this work down here, we're gonna go up to the women's ward instead, and we'll start out in the women's ward. So I've got this thing
You watch this tomorrow.
where
It's
I
entertaining.
really
Is it?
don't like being
This
the
one will
last
be.
person out in the dark room that I know is haunted. So I
Shit,
made
they're
sure
gonna
that there was somebody behind me as we walked
That's, you know,
out of the
this is
haunted ward
DNC,
and
Dennis and
through
Joe.
the storeroom
Yeah,
and
same
up
thing.
the dark
They're
stairs, up the
doing it,
basement.
same way
that's
we're
awesome.
doing it too.
Awesome.
You can hear them
She
shut the
was
mic off.
about my height, it was a girl,
You guys have sponsors?
straight
No.
blonde shoulder-length
You
hair,
guys need
and
for
like I
both
said,
at
it was
the
the
same
end of
time?
April, so she was wearing a blue
No, that's
fucking
not
ski
right.
jacket.
That's
This-
not,
no, this is
that's
great.
your own you stream, right?
Yeah.
So I
It's great.
stopped at the top of the basement
We're doing
stairs,
just two
and there was a
laptops.
big,
She's got
heavy
it on
metal
her stream,
door
and I
at the
got
top
mine
of
on
the
this.
stairs. So I stopped and I held the door
So,
for
you gotta have
her.
two, I think. Well, you could probably do it with one.
And when I turned around, there was nobody behind
Danny
me.
streams, Danny will let you do yours.
Oh, yeah, he'd love to do it.
I was
Well, you know what,
actually
too?
convinced there was
If
somebody
you do it
behind me,
on-
and
Both
there
on one,
was.
it
So
slows
that kind
the
of
screen
thing
down
was
to,
up.
Right. This way you
What's
only
on
need two.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. well,
Other than that, I haven't really had anything scary happen. That was just sort of disconcerting.
That was kind of scary though.
Yeah, it was pretty,
What do you
yeah.
do for Halloween?
How's Halloween down there in Illinois?
Halloween down here in Illinois is super, super cool.
Yeah.
The Smollett Hospital puts on a haunt, an actual scary your
God, I
pants
miss
off
my sound
haunt.
effects here though. I can't do
We
any of
had
my
been
sound
doing it
effects.
in
That's
Smollett
all.
Hospital,
Yeah, CD
but
player?
it closed
Well,
a few
yeah, but
weeks
I
ago
do
for
on the fucking
renovation.
TV. I
So
go like fucking.
the
Make up
people
your own.
that own the Pollock
I have
Hospital
these guys
also
on CD
own
freaking thing that has
some
like a
of
million
the
of them on
woods
it. I
next
got like, I got
to
two
the
CDs of sound
cemetery.
effects, yeah.
So we set up a walkthrough haunt in the woods.
Yeah.
But I could be doing.
And that was just
cycle
a
music
bunch
right
of
now,
fun.
so
I've been there, I was there last
applause.
weekend, and go this weekend too. It's
Pray
every
up to
Friday
door,
and
clam
Saturday in
slam, and there
October.
goes Jeff.
And
You don't know
Or
that
one of
shit
my
anymore.
part-time jobs,
You don't know
one
that
of
shit
my
anymore.
part-time jobs, I work
It sounded
as an
like
art
it.
model. So I hold really, really still.
What are we talking about?
So that is my job, is
Oh.
I am set up at kind of a bend in the pathway, and I'm in this really elegant Renaissance ball gown, and I have a mask on that's flesh-colored. And underneath that mask, it's on a stick, so I can take it away from, like a masquerade mask. And underneath that, I have makeup that looks like slave skin around my eyes. So I can take the mask away and it looks like I use my own skin for the mask.
We all three of us got our things.
I stand there very, very quietly, and
Yeah.
then as people pass me, I take the mask away and do a horrible, nasty laugh at them. But sometimes I just keep still. And I had so many people this past weekend wondering aloud if I was real or not. I scared the pace out of one of the hunters, one of the other volunteers to hunt. She, tonight.
Oh, what am I getting?
Well, okay, so two of the hunters walked past me in the dark, and one of them said, "Wait a minute, is that a real person?" And she came towards me and she kind of peered into my face, and when she got about a foot away from me, I took my mask away and went, "What?" at her, and kind of growled at her.
Awesome.
And she jumped back and screamed, and I giggled, and then she socked me in the arm and she said, "You suck."
Say, that's a good way to
Wow.
get punched in the face.
I almost did.
Yeah, you're lucky that she only punched you in the arm.
You suck! Yeah, you suck!
Automatic
I was lucky,
automatic reaction is to just go, oh, boom.
Yeah. Well, they do that in haunted houses. They
I
tell
had
you
a
not
bunch
to
of
touch.
kids. I had a bunch of kids walking past me, and two of the little boys, I don't know, maybe fifth grade, I guess, and they were walking
Smell
past
in the
me.
top.
One of them goes,
It's time to take over.
"Is she fake?"
Yeah, bigger mic.
"Nah, she real."
Beat
"No,
it
no,
down.
she's fake."
I gotta
"Nah,
fucking
she's
do
real." "No, no,
We're talking about
I
sex.
think she's fake." "Yeah, well,
You guys can
all right, is she real? How come she holds so stiff?" And then one of them said, "Oh no, she moves, she's looking at you, she turned around, she's looking at you." And of course, by that time I didn't. And I was still facing forward just to make them think that I was. It was fun. Bunches of fun.
Oh, that's a great story. As you probably know, Salem, Massachusetts is the Halloween capital of the world.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah, it's like-
absolutely.
it's like
I actually
Christmas.
wrote a humorous romance set in Salem. It's
Yeah.
called Double Double Love and Trouble.
Yeah, that story reminded me of every year I see this woman. She looks like a bronze statue. She's standing on a platform.
Ah,
She's naked, and she doesn't move at all. It's like, and people go up
That
and look
was
at her.
perfect.
You read them, you know, then she jumps, and it's funny as hell. She naked. In fact, speaking of downtown Salem, don't forget you can check out my ghost hunting tour, the only real one in Salem, Mass. WhitCityGhosts.com. We go through.
Hooray, go hunting!
Yeah, we have this. We don't. This isn't a candlelit tour.
No, it's
We're
good.
gonna talk
It's
back.
the real deal.
Yeah, the real deal.
No, come on, let's not go there.
We bring the thermal cameras, the ghost box, the EMF detectors.
Oh, I love the Ghostbusters.
So it's a real ghost investigation.
It's a real. You are the
Because
investigator.
a lot of the tours in Salem, if you go on them, they're just like, they're
It's
telling
stories.
stories,
Yeah.
and you're walking around with someone and they're telling you
Nothing wrong with
stories.
that, but yeah.
Mark tells stories and he does,
Little tidbits of
and he lets you use the equipment.
Yeah, we do a ghost hunt, so it's really cool. In fact, the other night, I don't want this to get out there too much, so I did bring the audio too, if anybody cares later, but
Yeah.
we were doing an EVP at the original spot of the Witch Dungeon, which is on Prison Lane, which is about a quarter
Yeah,
mile
what
down the
EVP?
street from Gallows Hill where they were executed, and we're doing a ghost box session. And said, there any spirits with us? You hear like, 1, 3, you get that a lot, or you get the different numbers.
Go away.
And I said, who is it? I said, can you identify yourself? He said, the devil.
You have it
No
with you?
shit, you got the devil?
The devil.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I
The
brought it,
devil?
yeah.
You got the
Play
devil?
it.
Yeah, you guys talk a little bit and I'll go jig it up.
All right.
Alright, yeah, the devil, I mean, the devil lives in Salem.
The
I mean,
devil.
Oh, yeah.
Salem's full
Well,
of
at the
devil.
witch dungeon, that
Yeah.
would make sense because of the whole
The
ley
devil's
line.
my roommate.
Yeah,
It's all on the ley line, that huge magnetic
Devil.
energy field in
Yeah.
the downtown Salem area.
yeah,
Where all of this
I did
historical
not
stuff
realize
happened.
that.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
they call it the triangle, or something like that. Salem,
Yeah.
Peabody,
Yeah.
this area, but Salem
Yeah.
is the primary
Oh,
energy
yeah.
field for, and even, believe it or not, actually, they had Salem witch trials up in Boston, you probably haven't heard about.
No, and they've had them everywhere. They've had them in Saugus, they've had them everywhere, but
They kind
Salem
of kept
is
it
the...
secretive in
Yeah.
our towns compared to Salem.
Yeah, Salem is... Well, I wouldn't go for Dogtown.
From what I'm hearing, Salem might not be the biggest witch trial town around.
No, because
It
they had them in
Oh, I thought
Saugus,
they
they
were
had them in,
could be Cape Ann.
everywhere.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
over. So it's been,
Salem was just the one, it's kind of
Oh,
like, you know how when you buy a laminate floor, it's Pergo, and
Yeah.
everybody calls it a Pergo floor?
Virgo, yeah.
Salem was the brand name for witch trials.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know, because
actually-
they happened
Yeah,
everywhere.
there you go.
And actually, if you ever get a chance, you probably want to come up here to Salem and check it out, because their haunted happenings up here are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You know?
Yeah.
That's,
I
yeah.
would love to. That's on my bucket list, is to go to Salem.
Yeah,
Come on down,
absolutely, you
check it out.
know, Salem is like the capital of horror,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and people welcome everybody in from all over, and people come from all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
Don't they, Jeff?
Oh, I believe it. It's iconic.
That's why Salem is like, got the worst parking tickets too.
Yeah. And even in,
$25 to start, and then if you don't pay it, it goes up quick.
when I first visited Salem for Halloween, I mean, I live on Cape Ann, so I'm not too far from Salem. They have a red, what is it, line that goes up through the walks.
Yeah.
So it takes you to all the haunted spots.
Yep,
and
the
stuff
history,
like that.
what's it called? Freedom Trail?
Freedom Trail, History Trail,
Yeah.
or something. And I thought that's so cool. So
Wow.
you can't miss out on any of the action in Salem.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you go in the haunted house, you want to hold
Oh,
it to your wallet or your
perfect.
pocketbook, so you try to grab
I'm working in Salem tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to the traffic, I'll tell you that.
Traffic's awful for Halloween, right?
I'm going the back ways, the sneaky ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, take all the back.
So you want to fly in on your broom if you come out to Salem.
Yeah, there you go. Fly on in.
All right, I found that audio.
All right, cool, let's listen to it.
I was actually hoping to take the train, but you know.
You can do that too. The train goes right to downtown Salem.
You don't,
Right.
you don't mind if we listen to an audio of what he caught, do you?
I just have a little audio clip I want to show these guys, all right? During
Oh,
the tour, it was like towards the end of the tour, we were actually getting a couple spikes indicated to a questionable thermal picture in the window. And then we're talking, this is at the Witch Dungeon, which is now on, well, it's now a federal building. But the original location was a Witch Dungeon, so I'll just play a quick piece of it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not going, how come it's not playing?
Jesus.
Oh, such
And
a
you're
hack.
like the tech guy.
I'm a techie guy, it's not working right now. We'll be right back after these technical difficulties.
What's going on? It's not working?
Aw.
No, we're fine. I
That's
got it.
coming.
I
He's
got it.
He's got it.
Figure it out.
We
Figure
still
it out.
have about 10 minutes.
No.
Yeah, we got time.
The devil.
You hear it?
Yeah, no. Did it say it did? Actually, you did hear it, didn't you?
Yeah. There we go.
All right, so it's gonna go back a little bit.
Explain the ghost box
Any
first.
spirits with us?
All right, listen right here.
Next question.
What I do now is I cut it back.
Hi, is anybody here right now? Any spirits with us?
The devil, right
Devil.
there.
Right there.
The devil.
The devil.
Wait a minute, listen. It also says it right after that. It also says it right after that in a higher pitched voice.
Explain the ghost box.
Right there, hear it?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So at that point,
So
I
it's
said,
human.
okay, folks, well, it's been a great night. You know, thank you for talking to us. Do not follow us home. And that was pretty freaky, but that was pretty
Mark,
dead
that
on.
took on like a human form and then the...
Yeah,
and the-
like a demonic
and then
form.
All right, now explain the ghost box to
The
people.
ghost
so they
box
understand
is it's an SP7 spirit box, first introduced on Ghost Adventures. In fact, it was in Salem at the Witch House when Zach first used it.
it. Yeah.
And it was invented by Gary Gulper. I think it was Gary that did it. Also did the Mel meter. Well, this is it's just an FM radio. It scans backwards, 4 stations per second on the FM frequency. So it provides white noise to spirit, you know, shh, because spirit has no vocal cords. So with the ghost box, this gives them white noise. It gives them a way to communicate and be heard. Versus, the EVP where it's usually whispers, like it would say like the devil, or get out, or if you listen to after, excuse my French, but after it said the devil twice, they called me an asshole. It's an asshole. Really clear. Oh, that wasn't nice.
Sure that wasn't someone in the crowd?
It might have been.
Now, I have a technical question for you.
Yeah.
Setting it up to scan through backwards,
Yeah.
is that in order to lessen the chance that you're going to catch something off of the radio station and mistake it for spirit voice?
Yeah, pretty much.
Does that kind of
I think so.
kind of negate that?
Yeah, it's a quick speed. It's 100 milliseconds, so it's quick. So like I said, if there's a syllable, one syllable will be about 4 stations. It'd be almost that quick. Or
Wow.
it's quick. So to get a sense of the devil is 3 syllables. That would be scanning through like 2 times, 3 times at least.
Mm-hmm.
So then so that's what validates. Also, if they drop the A bomb, if they swear at you or something, that's not being broadcast over regular FM radio.
Yeah, I mean, so the devil right there,
The devil.
that was over about 6 stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few.
I recall the bitch over the ghost box at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to use bad language.
Oh yeah, we get
It's more
FU all
negative
the
than
time.
anything. Some of them just screw with you too, and they're just messing around,
Yeah, we get FU all the time.
Yeah, we do.
Or,
I said once before, my name is Mark, can you repeat my name? It said, asshole. Really loud in front of like the whole crowd during the tour. Everybody laughed, it was funny.
you guys ever get on there that someone's gonna die or run? We have.
We've got
In
that.
the mansion. We
Or
have
in
that.
the basement,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
Get
there was
out.
one,
Yeah.
a couple investigations ago, like a month ago, when the spirits were talking amongst themselves about us. They're coming. Don't tell them anything.
Yeah.
But we got all these EVPs. It was amazing. So it was just amazing what you can get if you listen to it.
Right.
Even with the headphones, especially. But,
Over here at the mansion, we got
this place is
go
crazy.
to the basement, and we're like, oh cool.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we all pack up, we all go to the basement. We got like nothing, so they were up there laughing at us because they sent us to the basement.
No
way
shit,
down.
really?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
yeah,
my God,
yeah,
that's
it's true.
awesome.
We went down and we got like totally nothing.
So, like,
Oh, man.
So they're like, oh, good, we got rid of those clowns.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and they do. They tend to communicate more with you too. The more you go, the more you get.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes that can work against you, like the Garden of Victoria
Yeah.
up there. They
I heard
investigated
about
stuff.
they were doing an EVP session at the Pollock Hospital, and they were just sitting in the office just with their ghost box and going around the room, please say everybody's name, and the
Yeah,
ghost
it's
box
about
would
her.
say Chris,
She's trying to keep
Jackie,
it's all right.
Jill,
We
Jeff,
love our
whatever.
guests.
We do.
And it got to one of the teenage volunteers who was a complete goofball. His name is Justin. And he'd been there several times. He seriously was. And they're like, who's this? And oh, come on, you know who this is. Say his name. And
What are you
goes, "Dork."
Look at his viewers.
Who we
How
got?
many other?
None.
No?
Okay.
No,
No.
he is kind of a dork.
But they're not.
I like him though.
But it's recorded, so they'll see it anyway.
Yeah. He's talking about we're on Ustream. You can check out the show. You're on Ustream tonight too. DTM Wicked.
Perfect.
DTM Wicked Radio.
You can see all those
Check it
bald
out.
guys.
You check it, yeah. The 2 good-looking bald guys and my brother Jeff. But anyway. So what's next in your future?
Oh, I'm working on 2 more books. The second one that I have planned is about
All right, go
a
on.
patient at the Peoria State Hospital. Her name is Rhoda Derry.
She won't.
Her story is absolutely amazing.
Right.
And the one that I'm currently working on is a ghost hunter came to me with an absolutely hair-raising story of demonic oppression. She wasn't possessed. She's very, very Christian, but she ran afoul of 3 evil entities who just harassed her and made her life hell for months.
Yeah, that's scary
So
stuff.
he wanted me to tell the story of that, yeah. So that's going to be called Feral Trinity, a ghost hunter's encounter with evil.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
So, eye out for that.
That's
It'll
great.
be announced on the website, sylviaschultz.com.
Nice.
And there's also a Facebook fan page set up for Fractured Spirits that people can visit anything I do, any news that comes out,
Alright.
I always post on the
We'll kick her
Facebook
off. You
fan
guys
page.
want, can we talk for 4
Perfection
minutes?
Spirit.
Sure, pick her up.
Alright.
A lot of exciting stuff coming up.
Awesome. It's very good. And your website again is?
SylviaSchultz.com, and the last name is spelled S-H-U-L-T-S.
Like Sergeant Schultz, right?
No, he was Z.
Schultz. Schultz.
Oh,
You didn't talk to my husband about
I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah, no. I'm
Not
sorry.
my original name.
No. All right, and
I just let it happen to on that name.
are you on Facebook?
I am indeed, yes. Look up Sylvia Schultz on Facebook or Fractured Spirits on Facebook. I'm all over Facebook.
Oh, cool. That's
There's
cool.
also a page called Ghosts of the Illinois River on Facebook, so that's a fun page too.
You're a Facebooking fool.
Facebooking maniac. Well, Sylvia Schultz, thank you so much for being on Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff.
Yeah,
It's been
thank
our
you.
pleasure. You've been a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and
And enjoy your Halloween in Salem. I am so jealous.
Yeah, we will.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And make sure you check out the show. It's on DTM, wickedradio.com. It will air Saturday night, 9 to 11 Eastern Standard Time, okay?
You get on iHeartRadio too.
Yep, it's on iHeart, it's on
Oh,
Spreaker.
oh.
So starting Saturday, we record Tuesdays, we air Saturdays. So tell all your friends, make sure they check you out. You were a great guest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye bye.
Okay, good night.
Hey, did you guys know that when you guys do your show, it is live the Tuesday nights? Because I heard it live.
I heard it was too.
Right.
Yeah.
You're live. You guys are live.
We're still alive.
Still
We're live.
You're live.
Live and alive.
Oh, so we record live, and nobody even told us that. Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
like
you were
that.
live because I listened to the show live.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
I thought that
We
there
didn't
was
say anything
just...
like bad, did we?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome.
That's kind of what we do, I think.
I haven't dropped the F-bomb in like a month.
Look, you definitely would have friggin' listened to Mark and Jeff. They were friggin' hysterical and they were great.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's all good
say.
show going.
We have a lot of fun here. Gonna have to have Peter back here.
Yeah,
I'd love
you
to
gotta
come
meet.
back.
Drive down 128. That's all it
It's only
is.
20 minutes
Now you
away.
know how to get here.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd love to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
Right near Haunted.
We could
St.
do
Louis.
maybe during the night of a nor'easter. We could have a live
Oh, we
something
should.
like that.
As long as we don't lose the
We got them
power.
coming.
Right?
They're coming soon, so.
Yeah.
Call an all-nighter.
Yeah.
You know, and then if any of your girls want to bring us coffee or whatever, you know,
Girls are allowed.
Hey, Peter, I have a question. What do you feel? How do you feel about the Farmer's Almanac?
I hate it.
It's not real.
I don't, you know, it's real. It's Farmer's Almanac. You know,
Is it accurate?
to some point and degree, yeah. But again, it's everybody taking an educated guess.
Yeah.
Like
90
you are.
seconds.
Right.
It's Mother Nature. You can't
Yeah.
predict what she's gonna
No.
do. She's a freaking
I
woman.
enjoy
Right.
looking at
Yeah.
the Farmer's. I enjoy looking at the Farmer's Almanac.
He
You don't get that
apologized.
much out of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more crap in there than there is. They talk about weather. They got more
Right.
ads.
Yeah.
You know, everything changed.
Well, don't they
Yeah.
like talk about like moons and all that other stuff?
Yeah,
too?
actually,
People know about
actually
that.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the full moon, right?
If the sun is visible, or the moon, you'll be able to see the full blood moon at 5:45 a.m.
Really?
until about 6:45 a.m. But
Wow.
with the thunderstorms around,
You
I
won't see
think
it.
that might knock it out.
So again, up here in the Northeast, we are
Yes.
on the lookout for
Severe weather tomorrow morning, folks, between 5:30 and 10 a.m.
And
Want to make sure
tornado,
you
right?
tune in to Wicked Weather or Peter Lavasco at GoodMorningGloucester.com for
There
the
you go.
latest weather updates.
All right, catch that. Your show is, when's your show on?
Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and I have Greg Johnson on this
He's right
Saturday.
with us.
It's going to be a great time. Tornado
Awesome.
Hunter. He's a star on TNT's Tornado Hunter. He's a photographer, and also is a tornado chaser. And
Awesome.
He's
Wow.
from Canada as well. Oh,
Hey,
Canada!
Canada.
We love you, Canada, but we're all Bruins fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Go Bruins.
Canadian side.
Go Bruins. Well, folks, that's about it.
10 seconds.
That's about it with Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. You have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Thanks for checking us out.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
So,
5,
boys.
4, 3. Peace.
Goodbye.